Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And we've got an incredibly important topic to discuss: the state of Pennsylvania and its critical role in the 2024 presidential election. Pennsylvania is shaping up to be the most crucial battleground state this year, and for very good reason. Today we're going to break down exactly why Pennsylvania is such a pivotal state, how the Harris and Trump campaigns are focusing their efforts here, and what makes this state a bellwether for the entire election. Let's begin with an overview of just how intense the fight for Pennsylvania has been. Both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump's campaigns are zeroing in on this state like no other. They've poured an unprecedented amount of time, energy, and money into Pennsylvania. The Harris campaign alone has spent close to $20 million in this state, and Trump's campaign isn't far behind, matching these efforts dollar for dollar. What makes this spending even more striking is that Pennsylvania isn't just another battleground, it's the battleground. If you can win here, you're much closer to securing the presidency. But why? Why is Pennsylvania, out of all the battleground states, so critical in deciding the fate of this election? To answer that, we need to go back in time and look at Pennsylvania's voting history. For the last several decades, Pennsylvania has been a microcosm of the broader American electorate. It's a state that swings between the two parties, reflecting the nation's larger political trends. In 2020, Joe Biden narrowly won Pennsylvania by just 1.2%, flipping it back into the Democratic column after Donald Trump's surprise victory here in 2016. That year, Trump won Pennsylvania by an even slimmer margin of 0.7%, breaking through what had long been considered part of the Democrats' so-called blue wall. This term, blue wall, refers to a block of states including Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, which were reliably Democratic from 1992 until 2016. Now, why is this blue wall so important? It's because these states collectively hold a significant number of electoral votes. Pennsylvania alone has 19 electoral votes, and when combined with Michigan's 15 and Wisconsin's 10, you're looking at a total of 44 electoral votes, enough to tip the scales in any close presidential election. For Democrats, holding on to these states has historically meant securing the presidency, and for Republicans, breaking through this wall, as Trump did in 2016, can deliver a path to victory. This brings us back to why Pennsylvania is so pivotal in 2024. It's not just about its 19 electoral votes. It's about the message it sends to the rest of the country. When Pennsylvania flips, it often signals a broader national trend. In 2016, when Trump won Pennsylvania, it was a harbinger of his victories in other Rust Belt states like Wisconsin and Michigan. When Biden reclaimed Pennsylvania in 2020, it marked a return of these states to the Democratic fold. In this election, Pennsylvania will once again serve as the tipping point that could decide the entire race. But beyond electoral math, Pennsylvania holds a unique place in the national political landscape due to its diverse and complex electorate. The state is a mix of urban, suburban, and rural areas, each with its own political leanings and priorities. You have the densely populated and Democratic-leaning urban centers like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, which are crucial for any Democratic candidate looking to build a strong base of support. Then, there are the increasingly competitive suburban areas around Philadelphia, places like Bucks, Montgomery, Chester, and Delaware counties. These suburban voters, especially women, have become a key swing demographic in recent elections. They overwhelmingly broke for Biden in 2020, helping him secure the state. But both parties know that the political winds can shift, and these voters are again a top target for both Harris and Trump. In contrast, rural Pennsylvania has remained solidly Republican, particularly in areas like central and northern Pennsylvania, often referred to as Pennsyltucky, for its more conservative, rural character. These voters were essential to Trump's victories in both 2016 and his strong performance in 2020, and Trump is once again focusing on energizing this base. His message of economic nationalism, promises to bring back manufacturing jobs, and a strong stance on immigration resonate deeply in these regions. That's the thing about Pennsylvania. It's not a monolith. It's a state that represents so many different facets of America's electorate, from the highly educated and progressive voters in urban centers, to the more moderate or conservative suburbanites, to the staunchly conservative rural voters. Winning Pennsylvania means building a coalition that can appeal to all these different groups, which is why both campaigns are pulling out all the stops to get every vote they can. Let's talk a bit about the specific strategies that each campaign is employing in Pennsylvania. The Harris campaign is focusing heavily on the suburbs and the cities, where she's running on a platform of economic justice, health care reform, and climate action. Harris has been particularly vocal about her support for unions and the working class, promising to create good-paying jobs in the clean energy sector, something that resonates in a state that has both a strong labor history and a growing environmental movement. She's also made a point to campaign in the Philadelphia suburbs, where suburban women, especially college-educated white women, have become a key demographic. These voters broke decisively for Biden in 2020, and the Harris campaign is hoping to maintain that momentum. On the other hand, the Trump campaign is doubling down on its appeal to rural and blue-collar voters. Trump's message in Pennsylvania has focused on the economy, particularly in regions that have suffered from deindustrialization and the decline of coal and steel industries. He's promised to bring back jobs, reduce regulations, and push back against what he calls the Democrats' war on American energy, a direct appeal to voters in Pennsylvania's energy-rich areas like those near the Marcellus Shale. Trump is also focusing on the issue of crime, particularly in Philadelphia, where rising crime rates have become a major talking point. He's positioning himself as the candidate of law and order, which resonates with voters who feel that Democrats have not done enough to address this issue. Let's not forget about the demographic shifts happening in Pennsylvania as well. The state's population has been changing over the last few decades, with more Latino and African American voters becoming politically engaged. The Harris campaign is actively, as the candidate of law and order, a message that resonates with voters concerned about crime and safety. The electoral dynamics in Pennsylvania are further complicated by the state's mail-in voting system. This system was expanded in 2020, allowing more voters to cast ballots by mail. Over 2.6 million Pennsylvanians used this option in the last election. The counting of mail-in ballots, which occurs after in-person votes, led to the red mirage phenomenon, where Trump appeared to lead on election night, only for Biden to pull ahead as mail-in ballots were tallied. Both campaigns are preparing for a similar scenario this year, and legal battles over mail-in voting procedures are already unfolding. The handling of these ballots will be a key issue in the election's aftermath. Finally, Pennsylvania holds symbolic significance beyond its role as a swing state. It's a state deeply rooted in American history, with Philadelphia being the birthplace of the U.S. Constitution. This historical significance adds an extra layer of importance to the state's electoral outcome. Pennsylvania embodies the tensions between different regions of America, urban versus rural, industrial past versus green future, and its electoral outcome will be a reflection of these broader national conflicts. So, what's the bottom line? Pennsylvania is the keystone of the 2024 election. Winning here could be the ticket to the White House, which is why both campaigns are investing so heavily in this state. As we approach Election Day, keep a close eye on Pennsylvania. It's not just a battleground state. It's the battleground where the fate of the presidency could be decided. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you found this deep dive into Pennsylvania's role in the 2024 election informative, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more analysis and updates as we continue to cover the race to the White House. And remember, every vote matters, especially in crucial states like Pennsylvania.